Hi guys, it's Jimmy, and as most of you will know, I've only recently gone onto Instagram and started sharing a few pictures on there. And I must admit, for myself, I started trying to do put one thing every day on Instagram, and now I've just sort of not lost interest. I just uh, find it I don't know find it less necessary. I always liked doing my videos like I'm doing now, but there is one guy, uh, you know who you are, Mark, considering watches, that posted a picture of his collection. Now, I don't know if it was his whole collection or it was his core collection, but it was just a great shot, and the collection really made sense, um, and made me consider what I'm doing with my collection, and where my heart is at with collecting. What is my favorite, you know, uh, favorite thing to collect? Whether it's the modern stuff, the vintage stuff, the sort of neo vintage, uh, you know, the hot watches that everyone's chasing, um, and as I was thinking that, also realized what I like to follow most on Instagram. Now, I haven't gone searching through a whole lot, but the few things I do follow, I tend to get most excited when I see a really interesting vintage piece, especially if it's something unique that's not really mainstream. So you see plenty of 5513s and uh, you know plenty of um, plenty of GMTs and things like that. So you see plenty of vintage subs and vintage GMTs, but it's the some of the other brands that did interesting things that'll just pop up. Um, and if they're, especially when they're in excellent condition, some of them unworn, just to see them as time capsule pieces. Uh, so I guess that's it sort of shows that I do like, I love my vintage stuff. I love the 4-digit Rolex. I love vintage Omega. Um, and I really like my pre-ceramic Rolexes, because they are very much similar to the 4-digit reference Rolexes in size and feel, um, and they're a bit easier to find, or a lot easier to find in great condition, or new old stock or stickered. You just have to pay that little premium, but you can find them, and that's what I tend to like. Now, as for the new, let's talk Rolex. As for the new Rolexes, you've got some desirable pieces, that the ones that are hard to get and whatever. But I think I get them because, yes, of course, they're related to the vintage stuff. But because if they're made available to me, of course I'm going to pull that trigger. Um, you have to be crazy not to. But that's not what I look for and go to wear. I do wear my gold sub. I do wear that a fair bit. Having said that, I don't find that to be one of these hype watches. It's just a gold sub. The Oyster Perpetual, I did want that prior to this new release, so I wanted the 39. I never got that watch, so they got me the new 41. And prior to that, I've had it was back in, I've got the pre-ceramic Daytona, which was late 2015, so the late one of them. Then in 2017, I got the ceramic Panda Daytona. And when I picked that up, it was before, they're super hard to get, no doubt. They're already trading double retail. But when I got it, I literally told them, just leave it in the box, and I took it home fully wrapped. Absolutely fully wrapped, that watch. I put it in the safe because I was going away on a holiday. Came back, didn't wear it because I already had the pre-ceramic Daytona, so I didn't wear the new ceramic Panda one. Didn't peel it, left it in the safe. I may have put it on my wrist once to have a look what it looked like, and something vintage came up, and it was a bigger ticket item, and I thought, you know what, I'm going to trade that watch. So I did flip that watch. Never wore it, but I do have like I said, I've got a 2015 pre-ceramic Daytona with black dial, and that one's more important to me. I picked it up the day I received the keys to our new home, which was on the family farm. So that was a big day. So that one's always going to stay. But as for the Panda Daytona, I flipped it on this. Now that's saying something. Yes, it's a vintage Daytona, but it doesn't have the hype that the modern one does. This is all about loving vintage, and the fact that this came with, a 90% full set. Doesn't have every piece, but it has a lot of provenance. So it's a great piece. Got it from someone that I've dealt with a long time, and I've had good offers on this watch. So as much as I don't really want to talk about them as investment tools, but yeah, I've had this since, so it must have been 2017 or somewhere around there, or 2018. I don't remember exactly when it happened. But been offered close to double what I paid. So, not that I don't want to sell it anyway, because I know once this goes, I won't get another one. I won't bother, because knowing what you paid for them at the time, and then thinking that was quite expensive at the time, and then they double in value, and then you go and sell it, and then it doubles again possibly in years to come. There's no way you'll be replacing it, so that'll stay. And honestly, I've worn it a handful of times, but I think it must be the value in the back of my head that scares me a bit, and just, like, don't wear it, because they've got tiny loom plots on these dials, and this one, they're all perfect. The dial is patinaed really evenly, the sub dials aren't spotty, the handset's beautiful. So yeah, last thing I want is a loom plot breaking loose on that dial, because you see most of them always have at least one loom plot that's gone, and I think that hurts the value a lot. But so at heart, yeah, it's vintage for me, and that sort of neo vintage, as they call it, sort of that sort of 10 to 20 to from 10 to 20 to 30 years old, in excellent condition though. I won't buy anything that age that's not close to perfect or perfect. So I'm wearing one right now. This is from 2004, the Sea Dweller. She's pretty much spot on. Clasp is tight as. I notice it's getting a little bit of patina you can see it on the bezel there. It's matting out a little bit. So I reckon that'll continue. Eventually this bezel will go a bit more matte, a bit more ghosted. It's just a cool watch, man. And I think it's also cool because no one's going crazy about this watch, and I think it's awesome. I love wearing my 321 Omega from 67. This thing's had a hell of a life, but just an awesome watch. I'll wear this a hell of a lot more than I'll ever touch that Daytona. So that's saying something. I want to get one of those, like an Uncle Seiko bracelet, or I don't know how to pronounce it, Forester or whatever it is. They make the flat link bracelets that look like the original, like a JB Champ bracelet. Just haven't been a bit lazy, haven't bought one, but I've got to get one. The automatic Speedy that I've got here from 1980 with provenance from Mexico. It's really cool, Mexican bracelet, stamped Mexico. I've seen a couple of these on Instagram as well with the bracelet that's got the full bars. One of them I've seen is completely original finish, where this is been touched up They just look amazing with their sharp angles when they're completely untouched. But yeah, it's a cool watch. Love wearing that too. Really taking a shine to, you know, Air Kings and Oyster Perpetual type stuff lately, and I always have, but you know, always chase bigger things. You know, always chasing vintage Submariners and things. So now that I've got some of them, I'm really enjoying this kind of stuff. And you know, it's so relatable to the new Oyster Perpetual. So cool. But you know, if you handed me these two to wear, I'll grab this vintage one, straight up. So yeah, Mark, you've made me think a lot about my collection, and I don't know about what I'm going to do if I would ever sell any, and you know, go more harder into a different direction, whether it's, you know, vintage or that neo vintage type thing. But I know what means most to me now, and it really isn't the new stuff. The new stuff's just good also. The new stuff is good because I don't worry about when you put it on. I don't worry about anything going wrong with it. Whereas this stuff is scary in that way. But the guy I've just started dealing with sort of has assured me, he goes, nah, don't worry about it. Just buy vintage as you normally do. You know, go for the case condition, dial and hands, you know, stuff like that. He goes, the movement, I can always sort it out. So that sort of made me feel better. But hey, just because he said that doesn't mean that's the golden goose. But because I have had things go wrong, and you know, I've luckily come across the correct crown, or you know, things like that. Yeah, I had a Monte Carlo from 1972, and I went to set the time, pull the crown, and it, you know, dislodged from the stem. Took it in. The watchmaker had the correct crown, new old stock piece, and yeah, he did tell me, that's a $500 crown, but he actually didn't charge me for it, which was amazing. So you do get lucky sometimes, but hey, that's what comes with the vintage market. You got to really be careful. So this is one of the first vintage pieces I bought. My daughter often wears it. Beautiful linen dial. Yeah. This is when it was really nice and basic and innocent. No big dollars involved, so you weren't really too worried. And you know, there's no one out there really faking these things. So anyway, guys, that's all I wanted to chat about. Thanks, Mark, considering watches. You're a true gentleman. Got an awesome collection. You know what you want, and you chase it. So that's great. And till next time, guys, have a great day. Bye-bye.